Everybody loves pancakes, both young and old. Because it's so easy and fun to make pancakes, everybody can make them. You can serve them with anything you like, but you can also use them in different types of dessert. I've got 3 suggestions for you. You can bake them in a flash and serve them with your favourite garnish, or you can use them in an impressive cake topped with red fruit. And if you're in for a culinary treat, I've got this pancake recipe with yellow pudding inside, an orange and a lovely Grand Marnier sauce on top. When there's pancakes on the table, it's a party for sure. And if I were to use my family's recipe, I would be adding this and that, odds and ends, but not here. We're using a clear recipe. I'm starting with 8 eggs. Which we'll beat with 75 grams of sugar. And then I add 1 litre of full cream milk. Immediately followed by 50 grams of melted stork. And to conclude, I'm adding flour. I'm using 400 grams, and here again, I'm opting for self-raising flour. You'll probably know by now, first the flour, and then add some baking powder. A coffee spoon of baking powder will do, that's about 10 grams. To our batter of egg, milk and sugar, we can now add the self-raising flour. As you can see, I started off with a liquid mass which is not frequently used when it comes to pancakes, but I found it more convenient. But that means we carefully have to sift the flour to avoid little lumps. Depending on the desired thickness of your pancakes, you add more or less. Now I'm loving mine. Really thin, like a crepe, which have risen a bit thanks to the baking powder we added. And all of a sudden I find myself at my grandparents' house on a holiday with endless stacks of pancakes. And look, the last of the flour goes in. Give it a good stir. Yep, the consistency looks perfect. I'm letting it rest for a moment now so the baking powder can do its job, causing little bubbles of carbon dioxide to form. And then we'll make the pancakes go and give them those little dots. As a finishing touch, you could add a little bit of vanilla, seeds from a vanilla pod, and they will give the batter these famous little black dots. And oh, just the smell. The batter for our pancakes is ready. I only need to prepare my pans. Now, part of the secret to making perfect pancakes is a good pan. And yes, I think a good pan is a non-stick pan or a cast iron pan which you never clean, and which you just give a small wipe before you put it back in the cupboard. So these two are my favourite pans, and they only need a fast greasing with kitchen paper like this. And I'm heating the pans thoroughly, and I guess that it has to be why the first pancake always fails. Temperature of the pan. Whether I'm right, well, we might see right now. Now, the batter has risen a bit and the pans are searing hot, so I'm totally set for making pancakes. Just 1 spoon of batter should do to get the perfect thickness. And we can see the baking powder gradually doing its work, creating these little bubbles in our pancake. I've got this little trick. though not ideal for stainless steel stoves because of the risks of dents, to just with your pan, and you should be able to flip your pancake in one smooth gesture. And don't worry if it doesn't work the first time. And if you use a spatula, which is no disgrace, use a wooden or plastic one to protect your precious pans. And hereby we can clear up the misunderstanding that the first pancake always fails. We're set for a big stack, but it's not because the first one turned out fine that your pan doesn't need greasing anymore. Again, our ritual: kitchen paper, a little bit of Stork, and we're off. Again, 1 spoonful in the pan. Spread it out nicely, and look, there's the bubbles again. Look, for me, this is what a perfect pancake looks like. Baking a few pancakes is one thing, making a real cake quite another. So, perseverance required. Now, I've got quite a stack of pancakes, and it's mainly the height that matters. I'm guessing this is about 40 pancakes, and our cake needs to be at least 7 centimetres. And because our pancakes don't stick together just like that, I'm making this tasteful recipe: a light cream based on caster sugar, a slightly caramelised version of sugar candy. The recipe is easy. I'm using 2 equal amounts of caster sugar and Stork. I start with a little bit of our sugar, and then the Stork goes on top, because we want a very light cream. If the Stork is at room temperature, it's ideal for a lightly whipped cream. I'm cutting it into small pieces which go on top. We could now use a kitchen blender, but a good old hand mixer will do just fine. Start off slowly, gradually picking up the pace. And once the Stork is mixed properly, you can add the rest of the caster sugar. And now we can freshen up this mixture with a little squeeze of lemon. This amount, the juice of about half a lemon should do. And then 1 more whisk, and our cream is ready. We've got a nice stack of pancakes, and we've got light cream. I think we're completely ready to put together our cake. Make sure the pancakes are cool enough, otherwise the cream will not stick. All right, starting from the bottom, 1 pancake, a little bit of cream on top, and we're set for 40 floors. Second pancake, again a bit of cream. Another pancake, or what did you expect? Press down nicely and continue. I think we've reached the height of a genuine cake now. About 8 to 10 centimetres, I guess. The final pancake on top. And I can already hear you think, not the most beautiful cake in the world. And you're right. We can give our cake a more festive look, or in this case, a more festive hat. Because the top lends itself for some great decoration, we'll start with the rest of our cream. Just spread it out. And we already added a bit of lemon to the cream, and we can intensify that freshness by using red and black berries. But of course, any type of fresh fruit will do just fine. Slices of grapefruit, banana, apples, you name it. And a finishing touch, like the real pastry chefs do, add a bit of icing sugar on top. And look at that. The perfect pancake pie, if you ask me. Enjoy.